All aboard! Hello and welcome to Shaky Hands Shed. Shake 'em. And this time we'll be concentrating on the little hornby or 4-horse saddle tank. And well, I call it an hornby or 4-horse saddle tank. All I'm starting with is the chassis and moderately half the chassis, with missing connecting rods on one side, and I was unsure if the motor ran, so basically I think all I were expecting off this was having a chassis. And anyway, the model I'm going to be building, I used 2 of them and another loco for a project. Here's the Island Railway version. And I used 2 because I needed to extend the tank, and I used parts off this one, and it's not strictly to scale or anything, but I was building a Peckett saddle tank, which is here. This is about the stage I'm up to now. Here we are on turntable, the stage where I've got to, and it's getting there. I've cut buffer beams down and I've cut tanks in halves, altered the cab and bits off the other loco. It'll be a pretty loco when I finish it, but this one's gonna be another story. Another one to me bow. I'll finish it off in one of my videos in the future, but it will be a very pretty engine. But as all stories go like that, when you've struggled, the hornby had brought out their own version of the Peckett, so I needed a built one. But here we go. As we can see, the motor was a non-runner. Well, not strictly true. The motor inside the chassis was a non-runner, so there was a problem inside the chassis because the motor did run fine when I tested it later. And here we're disassembling stuff. At this point I'm taking the base off. Oh no, sorry, it's not the base. I'm taking the contacts off, the brushes on the end of the wheels. I'm taking them out there. Yeah, you can see them inside the chassis there better from the still shot. There's one on each side, and the tabs that come up there, they touch the contacts on the motor. There we are, zoomed into it. That's your actual contact, your brushes to the wheels, and it comes up where that brass part is there, and it contacts onto your motor contacts. Very simple electronic contacts, and they were pretty clean. I didn't really bother cleaning them when I assembled it. There's an even better zoom in to where they locate on the bottom, and the bits that go off to the edge of each photo, they go through little square holes in the chassis and go onto the loco's wheels. They're on plastic, so they're insulated. And here we go, all the non-electrical parts are going into a bath of doom. Just all it is normal furry liquid, and just give them a good scrub up, get rid of the dirt. All we're doing, we're getting the dirt off it. I'm not right fussy about it looking a little bit of what I call patina on it, John. Yeah. And there we go, there's the body I'm going to be putting on it. And there are the odd little bits of differences on them, which I had to work round. Because even though they're all the same model, they chose the altered bits on them to improve them. But it was all good. We sorted it all out in the end. And we got there here. I'm putting new buffers on the back end, because I'd also lost the buffers. Because I'm not using the chassis off the newer one, because it doesn't fit onto the chassis of the older one. You can find you can mix and match, you can get away around it with these. You can mix and match the parts, you may have to cut something off, but you can get round the problem. If you just replace the actual plastic body without the metal parts of the body, I think you just get away with it, because I think that's pretty much unaltered on all of them. It does have a locating thing in the newer ones inside the smoke box, but that fits in and over easy. It's a post for a screw to go in, but it fits over the old one without any cutting. And there I'm super gluing one of the buffers because it didn't push fit in like the other. Can live with that. And here I'm testing the motor. No, I'm not testing it, I'm giving it a little bit of oil before I test it. Yeah, I know it's 3-on-1, John. I know it's 3-in-1, John, and that's what I'm using. Used it all my life, I'll use it now. And the motor runs sweet. If anything, for more intricate parts, avoid over-oiling. I've done it on here, but put a bit in a dish or a small bottle cap or whatever, and get a cocktail stick and just drip it on or whatever. Don't put a huge amount on. And there we are, the engine runs smooth, beautifully smooth. So the problem's always obviously in the chassis. It weren't making contact somewhere, so we'll check all that when we assemble it. And here what I'm doing, spot me deliberate mistake. I had to take it out again even though I got it in. Those are the more observant, they'll spot me screw up. There we are, popped it in lovely. And then, oh for f***'s sake. Oh you plonker. Right, start again. Check the lined up, and you've to, even though it's only an 040, you've to check your quartering so you don't put the rods on in the wrong place. Check you've got everything pointing the correct way on both sides. You'll know what I mean if you look at it. And here I'm pushing the front one in first this time. You'll spot the deliberate error in a minute if you haven't already. And there we have front ones in. Move along the butt. And we'll put the rear one in. And put the connecting rod in I should have put in. It's a pleasure, thank you, sir. You dipstick, Rodney. And here we have me shaky hands come into play. Just push it in a little bit so it helps it stay there, just so it stays on, and then get the pliers for a heavier push. And there we are, it's clicked in. Bada bing, bada bang, job done. Or I'm pretty sure it's job done. I think it's clicked home. Yeah, I'm dropping a bit of oil on. There you are, you see, I'm putting it on the valve gear there with a cocktail stick. So it's only a little bit on. Just dropping it down. And the new new conrods are superb. Thanks to Peter's Spurs. Peter's Spurs on eBay, he'll have more stuff you want for locomotives. Most of the usual spurs you'll need. And there you have, put some on gear wheel as well as on the axles. Only slight dabs now, yeah. Don't be going flooding it. And there we go. Chuff 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 chuff. Woo woo, come back. Chuff 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 chuff. Chuff. Chuff 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 chuff. Chuff 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 chuff. Ah, that's enough of that. And here we go, starting assembling it, putting stuff back in. I'm putting the contacts back in there. Ready for the motor to go in, pushing them back into place. Making sure they're making contact with the wheels. And making sure the tags on the end come up and mount where they're meant to be for touching the motor. And here I'm screwing on the engine weight block. Well, it's a weight and a location thing for it with the motor in. They've had to use most of the space and they've used the chassis with metal for the weight for hauling. And there we go, the chassis back together, motor's in, and there's the motor there with spring on. You have to locate the spring on these. And there we are, body's dropped on. Press the body back together, it just presses in really on these. There we go, pressing together again. And in a moment, first off, we'll be straightening the couplings. The couplings needed a little bit of help along the way. So I'll straighten them out with pliers. These little hornby lockers, they're a lovely little thing, really. They get a lot of ignoring and stuff, but they're great fun. Great fun little projects. I'll be after a couple of them. They're nothing special and nothing really detailed, but here we go. It's off like a Swiss watch. Off one way, back the other. Go on, back. Go on. Get in your kennel, you're a bad dog. I'm coming out. Whoa, God. Hey, where'd he go? Well, he's back. And chuff, 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 chuff. And this one, I've not got me more controllable controller on it. I'm just using one of the very small, very old little hornby square boxes with a little turning wheel. Turns one way for forwards, one way for reverse. And anyway, here's what we started with. Beaten up and battered. Parts missing. Non-running. Basic little hornby 040 chassis and motor. And I wanted to recommission it as a loco. The actual loco I've recommissioned it with, the body. It was actually released with black wheels, and the colours actually match. So now the wheel colour matches with the actual body colour, so it's quite a bit different to the actual hornby release, and it does look quite a nice engine, to be honest. And I'm thinking of making a layout so it will look nice on the layout. I'm not sure what the WCR stood for. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, subscribe. Even better, press the bell for notifications. And even better, give us a thumbs up so other people see. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, and tatty pie. Tatty pie. This edition of